All right, so let's fast forward another 10 years from the early 1990s to the early 2000s. Those are what I refer to as my snapshot years. Those are the years in which I purchased any manner of camera, whether it be film or early digital, and basically became a snapshot Joe. All of that changed when I purchased this camera. Looks a little bit like a DSLR, and in fact, it has some very DSLR-like qualities. One of those being a full manual mode. Harken me back to the days when I had my old Pentax K1000, and the photography bug bit me again. Believe it or not, this little camera right here was my first professional camera. That's right, I was taking professional photographs with this very camera. How did that happen, you might ask? As it turns out, being in the web industry, I often run across people who have needs for websites. One of those needs was as a jewelry photographer. I offered my services, she said she would pay me, and that launched my professional photography career. Alrighty, let's get down to the fun stuff. What am I using today for professional photography? This is my baby. It's a Canon EOS T2i. Yes, that's right, the T2i. I know what a lot of you are thinking out there right now, but wait, what about the T3i? How about the T4i? What about the D700 entry-level professional camera? How about the D5, the Mark II, the Mark III? All of those are fantastic cameras in their own right, but this is my weapon of choice. There are three primary reasons why, and I'm going to share those with you now. Reason number one, the sensor in this camera is identical to the one in the T3i, the very same one in the T4i, and the same in the D700 entry-level professional camera. That's right, the very same sensor in all of these cameras. Reason number two, the size of this camera. It tends to run a little smaller than some of the other cameras, and for those of you who have smallish hands, like myself, or for you ladies out there, you simply cannot beat the feel of this camera in your hand. Last but not least is the price of this camera. I recently wanted to buy a duplicate for backup, looked on Craigslist, bought one brand new and in the box for $250. You can still find them in the box in camera stores, ranging in price from $300 to $500, and even occasionally find a kit, ranging in price anywhere from $500 to $700. So those are the primary reasons why I love and use this camera exclusively. Now, let's talk about lenses. So let's talk about the two lenses that I carry in my bag. That's right, two lenses. Of course, I have backups to these two lenses, but I only carry two. And this is the first and foremost of the two that I carry. It is the Tamron 18 to 270 f3.5 to 6.3 zoom lens. Autofocus, auto stabilization. You can pick one up for about $600 in your camera store, but I recently found one on Craigslist for only $300. By all rights, this is a professional grade lens. And in fact, if you've looked on my website, 85% of the photos on my website were taken with this very lens. If you've been looking for a great lens to put on your camera, I would highly recommend the Tamron 18 to 270 3.5 to 6.3 millimeter. If you don't believe what I have to say, take a look at my website. It'll make a believer out of you too. Alright, so let's talk now about the only other lens that I carry in my bag. So let's talk about lens number two of two. This is it. It's a Canon 50mm prime lens. It's often referred to as the Nifty 50, and there's some very, very good reasons why. Reason number one, it is a 50mm lens. Bet you didn't see that one coming, did you? Reason number two, f1.8. It's a very fast lens. What this means is you can use it in very low light situations. More importantly, it helps you to create something called bokeh. For those of you who are not familiar with that term, it's that beautifully blurred background that you see on professional photographs. In fact, I use this lens exclusively for my portrait photography. I recently took this lens out onto the Houston landscape, and I shot every single photo in the portfolio using this lens. That's right. Take a look at it on my website. you'll see what I mean. Reason number 3 that I love this lens, and probably the biggest reason why I love this lens, it's price. It's only $100. In fact, I recently picked one up on Craigslist for 25 bucks. So, this is the lens of choice for me. I use it almost every single day. If you do not have one, pick one up. Alright, so those are my 2 lenses. Now let's talk about flashes.